Surprise, surprise! Module 29 is now on the preview server. A day earlier than I expected. But overall, the entire module is earlier than expected. This comes with, as per the blog post, a new dungeon, a new adventure zone, a new battle pass, and assumably a new campaign. We indeed have Mountain of Flame. This will bring a whole load of new gear and all that as well. So let's quickly check Mr. Knox. He gives us Mount Hotenow Rumbling. This leads us first of all to the Shadowfire Cavern. And here we are. We just have to save some miners, killing some enemies. And yes, we have all of these fire elementals as fitting the zone. They have definitely improved the look of lava and fire in general. We saved the last one, and now we'll come to this boss, the Greater Magma Elemental. So we'll just kill him, and now we need to find Kalek. Here he is, little dwarf. Quest complete, and here we are. I believe we are in Mount Hotenow. Yes, we are, and definitely the map is reworked. I recognize a little bit of the layout, but it's mostly being changed. And yes, looks a ton better with the way they've done the fire and everything. I'm not sure if that's going to be the hub area, but just getting that initial quest, I do remember, yes, this little bit here. Go up this way now instead. That is cool. Ah, yes, they made a hub in the center. That's where it is. Yeah, they definitely done really good on updating this area. When it had its old graphics, it looked pretty meh, and the colors all blended together. Now you get the stark contrasting reds really standing out, and that's super cool. So up here, there's a bit of a camp. Oh wow, they did really well on that tree. That is super cool. There used to be a tree here before, but I don't remember anything with the story with it. I'm sure we'll get updates to it. But yeah, that looks super cool with that lighting. And here we're just amongst the crags. And then there's some NPCs here we can talk to. This guy, we finished the quest. And then we get some more quests. And we're already getting campaign currency. Seems to be some injured miners there. Another guy here. You've got a post box there. Teleport, campfire. There should be some more NPCs around the place, but before we continue on the story, let's have a look at what kind of new stuff we're getting in terms of gear. Because yeah, we have this whole zone, which is super cool. Yeah, of course, it's got some heroic encounters with it as per usual. Hopefully some interesting ones, and not going to be too much of a slog to get your, say, currency if you need to. And there's this new like lockdown effect here. You complete activities and then you'll get a lockdown event where we should get some fire giants patrolling. So let's have a look. Mountain of Flame. This is the new campaign. Initially, we're just obtaining what looks to be a fashion bundle there. Does not quite let me preview it, but then you get 500 trade bars and then a fashion headpiece, a cowl. That looks actually pretty neat. You get 50 companion upgrade tokens. Then you get a horde of sigils. Not quite sure what they'll be for. You get some enhanced moats at legendary. That's good. And then finally, some recovered relics of flame. So you get some more sigils. You seem to get a lesser fire elemental. Perhaps that's a companion. And then we have some tasks here, getting boon points as usual. And then a repeatable one to get some upgrade tokens. Checking then the campaign store. We have a new vanity pet, the devilish imp. Another vanity pet, the Heartleaf Helper. And then the artifact set. So this is Searing Conduit of Magma. It's going to give you a big damage buff and cause your enemies to take a bunch of damage. So it's all just personal orientated. And the set itself is kind of meh with just power, forte, and defense. So just stepping stone stuff, but massive amounts of item level of 2,800. And this artifact, I believe, goes to 1,500. You got your key for the new dungeon, the Lair of the Mad Dragon. Well, the reworked version of it. And then we have weapons, armor, accessories, enchantments, and companion gear. Okay, having a quick look at the weapons, this seems to be simply just campaign weapons. So yes, you'll be able to get them regardless of your item level. And just having a quick look at, say, the rogue ones here, you can see they're going to have really cool fire effects on them. Yeah, those are very well done. I saw these a little bit earlier. But say looking at the shield or like your fighter and the sword, yeah, really cool. And my character's not holding them properly here, but you can get the picture of what they're going to look like. And the barbarian axe then too, yeah, I think they've done a very good job on those. And they're just campaign weapons. The bonus on them, not the best, but can give you, yeah, decent stepping stone boosts for getting extra damage. And otherwise survivability for tanks and healing for healers. So just, yeah, some stepping stone stuff, which is not bad, and it does actually look pretty cool. Moving on to the armor, there's a bunch of epic stuff here, and I think most of this is just, again, stepping stone with not some great bonuses I wouldn't expect here. It is just all easy to get campaign stuff. We can have a quick look at, say, the visuals of those. There, this set, I guess they're something to look different. And then you have shirt and pants, which are just all blue. Yeah, just all stepping stone stuff here you can pick up if you don't really have anything better to get yourself. Like, I mean, stamina above 75%, 4% awareness gain isn't actually the worst. We will have to check out all of that later, but yes, that's beginning stuff you get pretty easily just by doing the campaign. Same with these rings, just giving a bunch of ratings and things like that. Then there's enchantments here. We actually have a new fire agate, if that's how you pronounce it, or agate. And then an amolite. These can give a whole bunch of stats. They're actually triple stat enchantments. They don't have any higher item level, which is good, which just kind of means we can stick to our normal ones. But we do get some slayers and wards here versus fiends. That's cool. And then the companion gear. This is going to have 2,200 item level, which means it's like 400 item level higher than we normally have already from Light of Xaraxis, which makes it pretty much best in slot. If you look at the stat combinations, yeah, you can get what you want here, no problem. So that's what we'll be looking forward to. If we do check, say, the queues, is the dungeon available? Does not appear to be so, not yet. But if we check the collections, we can potentially find some new stuff that actually comes from there. We have the Mountain of Flame section. Those are the new weapons there, looking really cool. But again, it's not like they are that effective. If you've been getting, say, the master weapons from the Imperial Citadel, those could well just still be better, because they're just giving you like some power based on your different hit points between you and your target, and then they give you like a stat boost depending on your roll. So just for very early beginning players, you'll be able to jump into this zone like regardless of your item level and get those when you're new. So they're useful, and the visuals are pretty cool, to be honest, especially fitting this area. Then you have a mythic set of armor here, headpiece giving combat advantage, boots giving damage within fire themed maps. That's interesting. An armor piece here, which is the direct upgrade from the mighty cuirass from Dragon Hunt. So that might make Dragon Hunts a lot less appealing, but this is coming from the master dungeon, so much harder to obtain than, say, from Dragon Hunts. But it's nice to get an item level upgraded version from that. And then just some arms giving you crit strike, but when you're against multiple enemies, versus the other arms piece, which would give you it when you're against only one enemy. So you can switch between either or depending on the content, which is actually pretty nice. On tanks and healers, they have different mythic gear here. So healers, like paladin clerics, will have outgoing healing and power. Then they'll have boots with some regen, armor piece with crit strike and crit severity, but you have to continually heal people. It's like the tactical leathers basically. And then arms that can give you maximum divinity, so that's useful. And then for tanks, it's the same headpiece you got from Imperial Citadel, just with higher item level, stamina gain and awareness, Boots with awareness and deflect, not great. Armor piece is a bit better. It's an upgrade from the Dragon Hunt version. And then arms also not really great. Just a chance to give awareness and deflect severity. And I have looked into all of the tank classes and all of the heal classes will share this gear. Then we do have some legendary gear as well, which is basically the same as the mythic gear, just a little bit less item level, and the bonuses are a little bit less potent. Like these arms are going to give 6.5% total versus the mythic giving 7.5%. However, the armor piece is a little bit different, giving crit strike and crit severity. So it's basically, again, a direct upgrade from the tactful leathers from Dragon Hunts, whereas the mythic one is a direct upgrade from the mighty Kuras from Dragon Hunts. So it's very nice. You can get some increased item level versions of those. The legendary stuff again from Advanced Dungeon, and the mythic from the Master. Then we have just this epic gear that we saw came from the campaign store. Then we do have some new rings which actually look really cool in the icons. Not that you will see them as fashion on your character yet. But this is just some damage resistance based on your health. It's only like 2%, which kind of sucks. This one is gain 5% outgoing healing for 10 seconds, but 20-second cooldown. Also not good. This one's like gain combat advantage. That's useful up to 5%. This one is basically gain a bunch of ratings, not great. And this one is to gain damage in fire themed maps. These rings all coming from Advanced and Master. So them coming from Advanced means, yeah, I guess they're also kind of just stepping stone rings. I wouldn't rate them too highly. And then these rings coming from Heroic Encounters and then the campaign store. And they don't really have that useful bonuses other than for like newer players. Again, just a bunch of ratings and very similar to the previous module ones. We do have some new shirt and pants, like damage within fire themed maps, cooldown reduction on your encounters, a bunch of outgoing healing. Again, very similar to ones we've already had before in the game. So it doesn't seem to be anything game breaking there, nothing too special, but we are getting mythic shirts and mythic pants, 2400 item level. The bonuses are okay. I guess you would use them if you don't really have any better bonuses or any need of better bonuses. This one's good. Stamina over 75%, gain 5% crit strike. That's very useful. Otherwise, like 5% recharge speed. And for the shirts, again, cooldown, crit avoidance, like half the time, bunch of outgoing healing, more cooldown reduction, and then damage in fire themed maps. So there's some uses there, and then some like more shirt and pants, but from the campaign store and also from the lockdown events. We will look through them again in more detail in separate videos, but it is interesting to get mythic shirt and pants now, and there are some nice ones there. And then the new artifact sets here, so you can get this artifact, the Conduit of Magma. That's the one we saw earlier, just giving yourself a massive damage boost and then having a bit of an extra damage effect, with then the set just being a stat boost, so not great. But then there is another set which comes from the new dungeon on Advanced and Master. This one is similar to like the Jewel of the North. It's going to give you a boost to threat as a tank and a threat reduction if you're not a tank when you use it. And the artifact is just going to also deal a bunch of damage and also be a nice debuff effect. That's very good. So we can check here, say on Mythic, indeed it is going to cause the target to take 10% extra damage for 10 seconds. That is very nice. And wait a second, they have 1800 item level. Oh dear, they're doing it already. That means they are best to stop for item level. Better than these other ones which are only 1500, so people will be wanting to go for them, those of you who are pushing for the maximum on item level. But yeah, be aware of that then. Don't go for getting the rest of, say, your 1500 item level artifacts. Wait for these, to be honest. Other than that, yep, the companion gear, all that new stuff we can be getting. Then there's a bunch of fashion items with some vanity pets. This one being an Inferno imp from the new dungeon, with this cool guy from your lockdown event. And then there is this full fashion set plus this one. Wow, that is really cool. That is some nice art right there. I really like how, yeah, they fit the colors like that. We can already see the new companion that comes with the next battle pass, Eric Cavalier. You'll have like, I'm just a little adventurer, receive damage and you'll stun the target and then reduce all your threat by 90%. That's an interesting effect. Enduring Guard, just 5% defense. Stats and abilities, shielding all allies for 5% of their max HP, and then just dealing some damage. We will be getting like a new lockbox artifact, Heart of a Volcano, which will have armor melt, making the target take 10% increased damage. That's pretty good. It does not stack with other armor melt debuffs, but that does mean this module will come with 2 debuff artifacts, including the Jewel of Caldera, which also means 3 artifacts with 1800 item level. Those will be the 3 to go for if you want to be maximizing your effectiveness outside of scaled content. But that is everything we can see in collections here. Having this big map with a bunch of extra storage with it, maybe similar quest paths as we've had before. I kind of do remember this area here with these steps going around this way. You can head out, and yeah, so new lockdown event similar to Mensa Branson. Whole bunch of new gear you can get. If you're a newer player, you can look forward to getting a pretty decent weapon set with very high item level. There's some mid gear you can get. To be honest, it's not great. And from the new dungeon, there's some decent stuff, which is like direct upgrades from the Imperial Citadel dungeon. I wouldn't give up on the Imperial Citadel dungeon. The weapons from the advanced version are probably still going to be best in slot, as there doesn't seem to be any new weapon set from like master version or even advanced. Just the campaign store one. So even though we lose the wild space bonus from like these void touched and Zeraxian ones, they're still gonna be best if we're facing one enemy in a boss fight. And then yeah, all the new companion gear. So if you haven't already got the Light of Zerax's companion gear, don't get it. Save for this stuff. Just more item level. You can see this was 1800. This is 2200. So we're getting another pretty big item level spike again, because like mythic gear coming out with 3200 item level, and it's pretty nice. There is some good pieces like this one, accuracy and combat advantage, very useful on upgrade directly from dragon hunts. A lot of classes will make use of that. These arms as well, particularly in multi-target combat, very useful with 7.5% crit strike. And then there's some useful bonuses on tanks and useful bonuses on healers. So there's some decent gear here to go for as an end game player, and as a newer player, definitely a lot of opportunities here in the new zone with the new campaign, with even a new weapon set you can get just by playing a little bit. Overall, in separate videos, we will progress the story and see what they've done here. It'll be interesting to note what they did with that tree in the story with it, because I don't remember it at all. But just even standing here, see how well they improved the lava. Even just the lighting standing here is definitely being improved. It will be a lot easier to make thumbnails, that'd be sure. Ultimately, I'm most looking forward to the new dungeon, but for now there doesn't seem to be a lot of, say, astral diamonds to be earned with this module, which is a bit unfortunate. But there is a lot of companion updates coming, even masterwork changes. You'll be able to buy the maps with your guild marks, the mastercraft ones, rather than them being exclusive to people with mastercrafting and being able to only get them with the campaign currency. That will be like a potential AD farm there, I guess. I will make a separate video on that because it's particularly important. And then there's some like artifact updates just with cast times and fluidity. But yeah, quite a lot of companion updates here. So I will be diving into those in future videos. So thank you for watching. A massive thank you to all the channel members. I will see you guys around. Goodbye for now. Oh yes, you can fall off here.